newer classic players, so I kind of want to give my perspective on it because I feel like everybody that's been talking about this is coming from a point of an OG player, which I kind of am, but also uh, I'm kind of I was a kid. I didn't really get to play WoW. I just played around and fought mobs. Didn't really level. Didn't experience anything. So this is kind of new to me. So I have opinions about Classic Plus, and I worry that Blizzard's not going to do it right. So, what faction do you play? Alliance, obviously. Human and Night Elf, the roles or the races I normally play. Hunter and Warrior, kind of my two favorites. Uh, let's see, Classic Paladin is bad. It's bad in my opinion. It's tough. Druid can be fun, but not really my thing. Never played a priest. Mage, Warlock, Shaman, Rogue. Not my cup of tea. 26 to 30. I try and play just about every day, but not 20 hours worth of playing. It's crazy. What was your experience with various iterations of Classic? So, I did play OG, but not launch. I played in like 2006, so OG, but not launch OG. I played Beyond Vanilla. Played Vanilla as well, though. Didn't get to hop on in 2019. Wasn't playing then. Classic Anniversary and Season Discovery. Love both of those. So I've been tanking and playing DPS, but it doesn't let me pick both. So we'll do various, but I don't do healer at all. This really doesn't describe me at all. Not hardcore raider. I'd like to raid. So casual raider. Not auction house. Not complete. Just PvP. I do transmog hunt a little bit. How likely are you to play Classic Plus? I would play quite a bit. Okay, for sure, quite a bit. I don't know if I'll play consistently, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Classic is gonna be like the main thing that I play. I'm really enjoying it right now. Classic Plus could be kind of rough. Okay, it can be rough. That's something I've kind of resigned to. That it may not be great. Would you pay a box fee for Classic Plus? That's hard. I would not pay $60 for it. No. $40, probably not. $20, maybe. That's the thing is, I'm already paying for retail expansions and a sub. It's hard. It's hard to get me to buy Classic Plus as like a expansion. I would. It depends. Depends. If it's just barely an iteration of Classic, maybe like a little bit more in-game stuff. Definitely not. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you feel about Classic Plus if they changed how the game looked? 0. Keep. Yeah, keep. No, I want it to look like Classic. New character models. No. I hate how bouncy and cartoonish the retail models are. To be honest, I don't love it. They like the running animations are like really they all like bounce up and down. I don't like it, and they look just soft, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like everything is smooth, and I don't want it to be like this jagged like PlayStation 1 graphics, right, where it's like everything is like triangles, but like I feel like the OG graphics and models are like core to Classic. I mean, I think that's normal. Modern animations. Bouncing dwarves are bad. This says rad, but they are bad. Some of the animations I think are cool, but I'm going to put that at 2. Modern WoW spell effects. My thing about the spell effects, some of the spell effects are really cool. If they like lowered the resolution, I guess, and made them more Classic-esque, I'd be okay with that. I think I'm gonna put a 4 on that one. I'm not like I'm not 50-50. I'm leaning more towards like Classic stuff, but like we'll see. You know, it could go either way. Modern WoW UI player and target frames, action bars, nameplates, I'm kind of split on this. I don't really care about all that stuff as much as some people do. I like the the like Raider, not the Raider. I like the icon frames on the side, but they haven't changed those very much. But then the raid frames on Classic are good. I'm kind of 50-50 on that one. I don't really care. I don't really care that much. Most people use player. I use player anyway, so like it's not that big a deal. How would you like Blizzard to handle the server rollout? 1 mega PvP server with faction balance enforced and 1 mega PvE server. I feel like that's okay. 1 mega server PvP that lets players opt in out of PvP. I don't know how I feel about that. I think a condensed server list with consolidation of time is fine. But I kind of like the way okay, here's how I say this. I don't love how rough the lag is sometimes when all the servers are put together like this right now, like it is right now, PvP servers for like anniversary. But you do get to the server's always populated, right? There's always people online no matter what time you play. Even if it's really late or like odd hours for me, it's like normal hours for somebody else, like in EU or something. So like that's I'm leaning towards this one. I think this one, only 1 mega server PvP lets people opt in and out. I don't think that's good. It feels like retail, where servers don't really matter. I think server balance, a PvP and a PvE is fine, because I'm playing on a PvP server because I wanted to try it out and I thought it'd be fun. It's not sometimes. It's just not fun sometimes getting ganked while you're trying to level. It's part of it, but like if you get jumped by like one dude, that's fine. But I can understand why people don't want to deal with that. How would you feel if Classic Plus had an element of seasonal servers resetting every couple years? Fresh is the best part of the game. But I don't know about that. I don't know about fresh every couple of years. It depends on what you mean resetting. Because if you're just going to launch a new server and call it fresh, kind of like they do with Classic now sometimes, it depends on a lot of factors, I think, right? Because if you do fresh, everybody starts at a level playing field. The economy in the server is kind of fixed for a little while, and then it'll spiral. You can, if you're on the jump, you can get like a lot of gold up front before everything gets kind of overpriced. But having to start over every couple different months would be terrible. Every year or two. It depends on a lot of factors. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I like to see high levels with their gear rolling around as I'm leveling, and I also like to be that strong character that helps like lower level people as I'm running through a low level zone or something. I like that. How would you feel about layers in Classic Plus? I don't like layers. I don't. I understand why they're there, but I also hate being layered when I join a group and I'm not at the dungeon. And bada bing, bada boom, I'm in a cave. I layer. That's all she wrote. Now I gotta run back to my corpse. I don't love that. But I understand why they're there. I'm kind of leaning towards no layers. But the lag and the sharding would probably be rough. right? Uh, I'll say no layers. I think no layers. Final answer. In-game systems. What size of the rage should the raid size be reduced from 40? I don't have an opinion on this. Pause for the music. I don't really have an opinion on this. I haven't got to raid in Classic yet. I don't know how bad a 40-man raid is. I've never raided in retail either. I want to raid, but I've never done either one of those. So I don't really have an opinion on that. Should Dungeon Finder be implemented? No, yes, but only to group you. It's still up to you to get there and travel the dungeon. Yes, do like it's done in Modern WoW auto grouping. No, I think this is the best option. The group finder right now is good. I think in classic TPC, I think it's good. I think it's good. Just TPing you to a dungeon after auto grouping is not. It takes like a social element away. You have to wait longer for groups for sure, but like it takes a social element away. Should summoning stones outside of dungeons raids be implemented? Yeah, those are fine. Should there be heroic dungeons? Yeah, I think so. I think people like heroic dungeons in TBC. I haven't got to do them yet. I'm not there yet. I don't see why you wouldn't have them. I really don't. The best part about doing some of these dungeons, especially, I mean, retail, they're kind of trivialized. You don't even have to do normal dungeons. You just go straight to heroics. But getting the gear from heroic and then like going into a raid is like the whole point of TPC, right? Like heroics are there to make the raid easier, right? Should there be rated PvE in Classic Plus, Mythic Plus, Mage Tower, Prestige levels, level 60 / rating leaderboards? No. No time stuff for Mythic Plus. The Mage Tower, I'll say this, Mage Tower type gameplay of like you have your class and spec like mastery being tested. I think that's okay. Okay. I'm gonna say no, but I think the Mage Tower would be fine. Prestige level, so like I keep all my stuff, but I go back to level 1, like Call of Duty Prestige. And then this, I mean, rating leaderboards. So parsing leaderboards. No, I don't want that. It's already in the game, kind of. I don't really want that. Should there be rated PvP, rated battlegrounds, arenas, dueling leaderboards? I don't have an opinion on that. I don't do PvP. I don't know. Should AoE looting be implemented? I kind of don't care. It doesn't bother me either way. I'm not doing these mass pulls while I level, right? It works for retail because you kill 15 mobs at once, but in the dungeon, if you kill 10 mobs, you only get to loot like 2 or 3 of them, right? And everybody shares the money, so like it's not that big a deal. I don't really care. I don't care. I don't care either way. What features of world buffs would you want to see in Classic Plus? Okay. So I think they did Chrono Boon some other time. I experienced Chrono Boon in SOD. So I know people don't like world buffs. They should not be dispellable. I know that. And Chrono Boon I think is fine. I think the purchasing of world buffs in SOD was kind of silly. I think weaker, maybe more varied. That they're not necessary, but like they could be just a fun little thing to go get if you're bored. I think it's fine. PvP servers, now Chrono Boon, so you don't like if you're like trying to parse on or not parse prog on a boss, you don't lose your world buffs. I think it's fine, but I think weaker and more varied would be good. How would you feel if Classic Plus trimmed the capabilities of add-ons and weak auras? let's see. I'd be happy to see them go. I don't really care about that. Don't really care. It doesn't affect me. Just let them. I can't read. Just let me keep my out of combat quality of life add-ons. That's solid. I prefer my add-ons and weak orders. Leave me alone. I won't play Classic Plus because they remove my abilities to use weak orders and add-ons. Here's what I'll say. Yeah, just let me keep these. The combat add-ons I think are kind of, if it plays the game for you, I think that's kind of silly. But also, like, if I have to play Classic Plus without Questy, in terms of, like, tracking my quest stuff, if they don't put that in the game as, like, a base feature, and they take away Questy, I would be mad. I would play it, but, like, I would have far less fun. Should mount level requirements be lowered? No. Keep the mounts. Nah. Keep them the same. Should flying mounts be implemented? No. Should guild banks be implemented? I don't see why not. Should Classic Plus have achievements? Should they have achievements? I think achievements were fine for certain things. Certain achievements are fine. It kind of depends on the systems in the world that they're going to put in, right? Because if you got, like, ahead of the curve achievements, now all of a sudden, I don't have ahead of the curve on last raid tier. I don't get invited to a group, right? I can't plug into a group. Also, achievements keep a lot of people playing. A lot of people like achievements. I'd say they should, but maybe kind of dial them back a little bit. Should reputations be streamlined / made easier to level? I'm thinking of right now, as a human warrior, I'm thinking of the Darnassus reputation and the Winterspring reputation. Darnassus, I have to do every single quest that is a Night Elf quest, right? And then I still have to go back and do, like, rune cloth, unlimited rune cloth, like, turn-ins for rep. That's kind of annoying. That's kind of annoying. Getting 11 reputation per Furbolg kill for the Winterspring mount rep grind, is not fun gameplay to me. I don't like reputation grinding. I'm going to put no opinion on this because I probably will not do it. Regardless if they streamline or not, I probably won't do it. So, it's just not something I like to do, so I have no opinion on it, really. How do you feel about adding transmogs to Classic Plus? Transmog, bad. Transmog is bad. I want to be able to look at my gear and be like, hey, this gear is not great, or hey, this gear is awesome. And just look at it. I want to be able to look at somebody and see, this guy has tier 3. Okay, he has dreadnought armor. I want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it's like, oh, this guy has no clothes on, and you check his gear, and he's full bis gear. No, I don't want that. No. Should a separate collections inventory be implemented for toys and mounts? Yeah, that's quality of life. Should Classic Plus allow GDKPs? I don't have an opinion on this. I've never done one. I've never been a part of one. I know it's a good way to make gold and get items. But I've never been in one of these. Should the level cap be increased from 60? Not right off the bat, right? I think it depends on how long after launch, right? Because you don't want to say, hey, Classic Plus, now you can get to 70 off rip, right? Because that feels different. That changes the gameplay. You're leveling for a lot longer. But if you get 60, you're full. I'm thinking through this. If you're 60, you have full bis for whatever Classic Plus is. You have your mounts, you have your rep grinded out that you're going to do, and you've, like, everybody in your guild that is raiding with you is like, yeah, I'm done with my character. What are you going to do? You're going to run an alt, right? but if they increase it to 65, 70 a year, 2 years after launch, like, yeah, that's plenty of time for people to get to 60, play at 60, play at max, and experience the content there, and then they have new stuff. Yeah, I think that's good. The world, should Classic Plus have new zones? Yeah. I mean, yes. I think they should have new zones. I think it should be, how I say this, it should be carefully crafted. There shouldn't be like 15 new zones. Boom. But I think, yeah, you should have some new zones. Have some new zones in there. Why not? If yes, where in Azeroth or beyond would be okay with your zones? I think so. Only on the main 2 continents. That gets kind of sticky because then you're like shoving new zones into the 2 continents. That's kind of rough. Anywhere on Azeroth, I like the idea of like a classic Dragon Isles, classic Northrend, the Broken Shore, Coltier, stuff like that. I like the idea of that being in classic style somehow. Anywhere on Azeroth and any other planet dimension is fine. No, I think anywhere on Azeroth. I think once you get off of the world, off of planet, you separate the players too much. Should new content be added for leveling? Yeah. I think some of the coolest things is leveling. So like, if I've leveled 7 characters through Classic at this point with the OG characters, 2019 relaunch, Season of Mastery, Season of Discovery, Mop, Kata, all that stuff. If I've done all that and you give me new stuff to do in some low level zones and dungeons and stuff like that, yeah, that's cool. You don't want it to be just you don't want it to be loaded into the back, right? Backloaded, where it's all like all the new stuff's like 60 and beyond. You want some new stuff in the low level zones, and new dungeons for low levels would be cool. Give the Alliance a break at some of these lower levels, please, because it's rough. Like 30 to 45 is kind of rough for Alliance. There's like nothing. I don't know about Horde, but the Alliance, there was like hardly anything to do. Should leveling be sped up? I don't want to boost. I think I'm gonna put no. The leveling pace is already great. I think TBC leveling is the best because I never felt like I got stuck. Whereas before TBC pre-patch, when I was leveling a Druid, I got to level 30 to 45 range on my Druid, and I felt like I was stuck there for so long, trying to get to 40 to get a mount and stuff like that. It felt like it took forever, but I never really felt that way on my Warrior for TBC, so I think that's fine. Should there be more class-specific quests? Absolutely. No new class-specific. Yes, but only unlock abilities / spells. Like, no, I think class quests are good. Should there be more epic quest lines like Rock? I don't know what that is. Scepter of the Shifting Sands, etc. Doesn't the I've never done that one. I've never done either one of these, obviously. Doesn't the Scepter of the Shifting Sands take like forever? Isn't that like a forever thing? I lean towards yes, because that's like big in-game stuff that you don't have to do. You can help somebody do it, or like you don't have to do it, but it's cool if you do it. I'm gonna put yes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think doing a super long quest line to get something really sick at the end that's useful is cool. I think that's good. And like it takes you all over the world and stuff. If it's done right, and it's not just like, go bring me 1,500 scarab carcasses. No, I don't want to do that. But like, if it's done right, yeah. Which of the following best describes how you would like to see changes in Classic Plus to old raids? I've never raided. I have no opinion. I've never rated. I know that some people didn't like season discovery stuff because it was maybe too hard, but I don't know. I've never done it. So, should there be new raids? Yes, but only stuff that exists already in Azeroth, Karazhan, and Grim Atoll. Yes, proposed raids that already exist in the world, plus create something new. Like, yeah, I thought the Scarlet Enclave like looked cool inside. I think that was like a hit. I think people liked that. Okay, section 4 of the player. Should Classic Plus have new playable races? And if so, which of the following categories would be acceptable? Check all that apply. Any races from future WoW expansions? No. No Drakthir. Please, no Drakthir. New playable races that already exist in Azeroth. Completely new races never seen in Azeroth. No. No new races. Keep the original 8. I think if they already exist in Azeroth, the Furbolgs are fine. I know people are going to hate that or love it. Blood Elves are fine. Does that get rid of Draenei? Not really get rid of Draenei, but yeah. Should Classic Plus have new classes? Yes, but only classes added in other WoW expansions. DK, Monk, Evoker, Demon Hunter. No, I don't want Evokers. Yes, the ones we've seen, but also completely new classes never seen in WoW. I'm leaning towards yes, because DK is my favorite class. But, and I say this with a large but, no Evoker. It's not classic. Demon Hunter should not zoom around like they do. Okay, it should not be like that. It should not have the double jump and all that stuff. I don't think Monk should zoom around like they do. I think it should be sort of like DK when they came out, not broken, but they felt like a big addition to Classic because of the experience they brought. If you play a Monk or a Demon Hunter or a Death Knight, I think it should feel like you're playing Classic, but just a fresh class, like a new thing in Classic, right? It should not be like Evoker where you can fly around and do soar and I don't want Evoker, but these other ones, yes. I'm gonna caveat no Evoker. I don't want Evokers. I don't want Drakthir. Okay. Should new race / classes be added? Yes. Bonus stuff that makes sense in the lore. Okay. I like that night elves can only night elves can be druids and only taurens can be druids because they're like coded in nature in the lore, right? That they're like very druidic people. I like that. I'll say this. I don't like that in retail everybody can be a warlock and everybody can be a rogue. I don't love that. If you want to make everybody be a warrior and have like that base, like, yeah, you can use a weapon, like, that's fine, but everything else, I think it should be only certain ones. And then, like, obviously, like, Taurens shouldn't be demon hunters, okay? They shouldn't. But then, if you go back to it, I don't think orcs should be monks. Classic orcs are like rage filled. They're not zen like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. They would have to tweak that, I think, a little bit. I don't know. Should the Horde have paladins and the Alliance have shamans? Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes no sense that dwarves don't have shamans and that undead can't be paladins, to be honest. If an undead can be a priest, an undead can be a paladin. Well, why not? Okay, don't give them to every race, right? I don't think humans should be shamans. No. I don't think gnomes should be shamans. You can make the case for night elves, but I don't think so. I think dwarves having shaman abilities and undead being paladins, I think that would be fine. Should classes be reworked? New base abilities and spells, class role combinations, etc. No, vanilla classes have distinct class fantasies that make each playthrough unique, kind of. Some quality of life adds like totemic recall and projection, summoning gate, combo, point persistence would be nice, but don't fix what ain't broke. Some new spells that modernize rotation like Ret Pally, just don't completely change them. I like that. I like these two. Okay, don't break it and stuff, but also like Ret Pally and Classic is not viable for anything because it's not good. And you want to play Ret Pally? Like I get it. You want to play it, so nah, don't go crazy. I think Sod was towing the line here. I think they went a little too far. But I think this is fine. Of the following, which is the most important change needed to raid buffs in Classic Plus? You may want to pick multiple, but only pick your biggest concern. The question refers to 1 hour long buffs, not Pally blessings. We'll ask about raid buffs more later. Raid buffs should be a single cast, raid wide. Raid buffs should no longer require reagents. Raid buffs should cost less mana. Raid buffs should be combined so multiple classes can buff different things, like in Wrath. No, leave it as an I think I'm leaning more towards these two right here. Raid wide, clicking, or yeah, tabbing, clicking, whatever, on every single person in a raid and buffing them is kind of crazy, but I think more the reagents. I don't think you should have to spend reagents to buff somebody. I don't think you should have to do that. Should talent specializations be reworked? Somewhat, but only a light touch. Absolutely, I want to see reworks across the board. I think a light touch. I think a light touch would be fine. You don't want to go crazy. Should a fourth new talent spec be added for classes like Guardian Druid, Tank, Shaman, etc.? Yes, but limited to hybrid classes with roles that didn't get fleshed out in vanilla. I think that's fine. Everybody wants a Shaman tank. I don't really care for a Shaman tank. Guardian Druids, I think, have been a big hit. People love Guardian. I'm thinking about like Mage Healer. I didn't think that was... I thought it was cool, but I didn't like it too much. Warlock tank and stuff, it's crazy. It's too much. I think having pure DPS classes are great. Let's see. So, Shaman tank, that would make you a DPS, a healer, or a tank. The only other classes that do that are Pally and Druid, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think limit to hybrid classes. I think it's fine. Should every specialization be competitive in both PvE and PvP? I think every spec should be somewhat viable in every scenario, because if you want to play Boomy, if you want to play a Boomkin in Classic, you just can't. People don't want to take you anywhere. You have to have like a dedicated group of people, right? If you want to play a Ret Pally, you can't. Even in vanilla, Pally tanks are not good. Guardian Druids are not great, especially like leveling. So like I think that's I think you should, yeah, I think every spec should be viable. I think you should be able to play what you want and play it well, and not have to like work twice as hard as somebody else, and you know, and have all your pre-bis and your bis and your enchants just to do like 1k DPS more than somebody that has nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think dual specializations are good. I think it's fun. Good. I think it's good to implement. It's quality of life, I'd say. Should new professions be added? What would they even be? What would they even be? No, I think the originals are fine. I'm trying to think. What, inscription, I guess? No, I think the originals are fine. Should professions be updated to have more in-game relevance? Yeah. Yeah, I think if you level blacksmithing all the way up, or herbalism, I don't know. Really blacksmithing. If you go all the way to blacksmithing and you outpace your gear that you can make, to an extent, I think you should be able to make gear up until like raid, and maybe have like a big quest line for like one big recipe for like a tier, not a tier piece, but like something along those lines. Like, hey, this neck that you can craft is like a big time thing. Whoa, what? No, new professions. I don't have an opinion on that. I don't have an opinion on the new professions because I'm thinking about jewel crafting. I think that's a pretty big thing in TBC, but I've never done it, so I don't know. Should professions be updated? I think so, yeah. I think people like professions in Classic to an extent. I think if you go through the time and effort to level those, yeah, I think it should be relevant. Boom. All right. That was the intro. Oh man, that was crazy. Okay, yeah, I think that's solid. I think I have solid opinions about that stuff. All right, so apparently there's a lot more. There's 5 world surveys, 3 player surveys, and 4 system surveys. If you want me to go through these, let me know. All right, let me know in the comments down below. I'll go through them and I'll give my opinions on what they've got. But I have no idea what some of these are gonna be. Let's look at like lore, questing. Yeah, I probably have some opinions. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you. I'm out.